What's going on, everyone in YouTube world? Hope you're all doing fantastic. It's Cockney biker on a bit of a chilly morning on my way to work and all that. So I've been recently watching like a series called The Travellers. Absolutely loved it. It was a great show. Can't wait to see if they got a fourth season coming out. Wondering how they're going to square a few circles in that show. But also got me thinking about time travel. You know, there's a lot of movies out there and shows and what have you about people basically going back into any point in time. And I sort of trying to think about it as like as an astrophysicist would think about it. And it's actually quite an interesting scenario. Say you built a machine. So, you know, you got a machine that could make you go forward or back in time. Oh, that's all fine and dandy. I mean, going forward in time is just travelling at the speed of light, or you know, slowing down your clock while the clock around the rest of the universe accelerates. So that's you going forward in time. But going backwards in time, a little bit tricky. And I'll explain to you what I mean. Oh, while we're at it, cue the intro. Where were you an hour ago? You know, if it's like 5 o'clock, where were you at 4 o'clock? Believe you me, that question is not as simple as whatever. It's not as simple as all that. When you consider that, like, you know, yeah, on this planet you were, I don't know, at home, at work, or sitting around, riding about, whatever the case. But in spatial terms, an hour ago, let's work it out a little bit. At the equator, this Earth rotates at 1,000 miles an hour. And like basically anywhere between. So say you're on the equator. An hour ago, you were 1,000 miles to the west of where you are now. So in all likelihood, you got into a time machine and you came out an hour ago, you'd be in the middle of the ocean. But it gets a bit deeper than that, because that wouldn't really be the case. See, the Earth orbits around the sun at, get this, 67,000 miles an hour. So you'd be 1,000 miles to the west and 67,000 miles left behind in the case of the Earth's orbit. But it doesn't even stop there. The sun orbits the Milky Way galaxy at nearly 500,000 miles an hour. Basically 480 something thousand miles an hour orbiting the Milky Way galaxy. We go round every 200 million years. So an hour ago, with regards to like the solar system, you were like 500,000 miles out in space, in addition to being 67,000 miles out in the solar system, in addition to being 1,000 miles to the west of where you were. We don't just stop there. The Milky Way is moving as well. It's orbiting its own little cluster. The speed at which the Milky Way, our galaxy, moves is 1.3 million miles an hour. So an hour ago, you were 1.3 million miles out in space, in addition to being 500,000 miles out in the galaxy, in addition to being 67,000 miles out in the solar system, as well as being 1,000 miles out from where you were on Earth. Think about the kind of calculations that would be needed to basically put you back exactly where you're supposed to be. Because we're not just talking about like the galaxy. In addition to that, we're talking about like, what about the galactic cluster? How far is that orbiting its main galactic cluster? What about the expansion of the universe? Really, what would be the point of reference that you could say, I am moving away? Because everything is moving. That's quite an interesting little tidbit there for you. Actually, it makes a good excuse if someone says, where were you an hour ago? Oh, I don't know, about 2 million miles out in space. Yet we don't feel it, because we're just part of the momentum. But if everything came to a crashing stop, depending on what side of the Earth would be, you'd be flung in 2 million miles an hour. That's quite some serious like flying. Be beyond escape velocity. Yes, I'm a geek. Yeah, I love physics and science and all that. Yes, my heroes are Carl Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and the late Stephen Hawking. No, the late Carl Sagan as well, you know. Oh well. Food for thought. What time is it? I'm late. Here's another thing about time travel, and that's the, like, you know, the butterfly effect of everything. It's interesting when you think about it in terms of like the wake that never ends. Look, I'll give you an example. I don't know, say like I went back to yesterday, overcoming all of those distances and everything like that, but I managed to accurately calculate where I was going to be, and I went back to yesterday, and I stopped a guy from going in the, I don't know, I slowed down traffic for about 10 seconds. It wouldn't even make half a difference to what happens today. Wouldn't even make a difference. But over time, it would make an ever-increasing difference. You know, you hold someone up for 10 minutes. Maybe that 10 minutes is, like, I don't know, a meeting somebody. You know, a last chance to get a drink with someone that they might fall in love with and have kids, which could affect generations. Or maybe it would put someone in a situation where, had they been 10 minutes later, they would have survived an accident that was about to happen. Maybe they'd have been thinking of something else. You know, instead of worrying about what the hell you're doing holding them up, maybe they'd have been thinking about the formula to cure cancer or something. You know, you hold someone up for 10 seconds even, like, say, yesterday don't make much of a difference to today. You hold them up for like 10 seconds, like 10 years ago, it could alter the course of like a little bit of human history, at least locally. Hold them up 10 seconds like 100 years ago, it might affect an entire continent. Hold them up 10 seconds 1,000 years ago, you could change the bloody world. Everything. Oh, that's all I've got to go on about today. Everyone take care of yourselves, mind, there you go. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. It's just down there, and there's some more videos hovering around here somewhere else. This is the Cockney Biker signing off. Take care of yourselves, mind, you go. And later.